Hello, auction lovers. This is Sherry Truhlar with Red Apple Auctions. And since COVID-19 really threw a wrench into our spring 2020 auction fundraisers, I've been hosting some conversations about the next 6 months. What's next? How are we adapting? What technologies are we using to ensure that we're still raising money for our missions? In one of those conversations, I talked about a series of plans that you might be adopting if you've got a 2020 event. And so what I thought I would do in this video is just kind of condense it a bit and go through those as to offer you some ideas of where your head might be with regards to your 2020 fundraiser. Now, the first plan is Plan A, all systems go, we're moving ahead, no train is jumping off the tracks, we are just all business as usual for us. If you're doing, if that's kind of your mindset right now, you're probably in that late fall, winter time frame, November, December. You know, I haven't had any clients in that time frame sit there and talk to me about options. I mean, they're really just focused on what they need to do right now, which is probably stay at home and do nothing. So that might be where you are if you've got one of those later 2020 events. I've got a couple of events in August. One of them, which would be more late summer, one of them has already started to bail and wants to move to December. The other one is right now not looking at any options. So it really is kind of a independent depending on the organization. Plan B is we're moving forward, but we think we may have lower attendance. Maybe we used to have 500 people. Yeah, we're thinking maybe 350 or 300, 250. Maybe you used to have 150 people. You're expecting right around 100 or fewer. You have to keep in mind that even if the shelter in place goes away and that people are allowed to socialize, it doesn't mean that people will feel comfortable socializing. And in fact, some of the comments that have been made by participants in the conversations has been, well, even if you are allowed, some people it might look bad if you're a nonprofit to kind of do it anyway. It looks like you're just marching out there and like, yeah, let's raise money. There's also that to overcome, that kind of stigma that might be associated with it. If you are in that time frame, if you're really in this Plan B, one suggestion might be that you look at a partially virtual experience. You know, I would assume that you might be more summer here, maybe early fall, early midsummer, late summer. It's a big unknown. It's hard to tell. But I would say in this case, you might be looking at having some sort of a partially virtual experience so that you recognize that you might have some people who don't feel comfortable coming, or you are trying to find out a way to build out to get to your original numbers, maybe incorporating some elements of a virtual experience into your event would be a good idea to kind of bring people together, but do so in a way that they each find safe. Plan C. Plan C says, heck with it. We're moving forward, but it's going to be virtual. I've got an event right now in July, and they have a couple of people who are committed to that event, and they do not want to lose those people. And those people are only available on their event date. They're moving forward with a virtual event, and they're planning that out right now. You might feel that you're in that August time frame, and you're like, you know what, maybe it'll be open, maybe it won't, we don't know, but we'd rather put all our eggs in one basket and have a great virtual event than try to figure out how to do some sort of a hybrid system. So that might be where you are. Certainly, those clients that have had events in March and April, they had to make a quick turnaround to go 100% virtual. It wasn't even an option for them because those mandates came out and they weren't allowed to do anything other than that. So to salvage it, that's what they did. It can be done. It can be done, turned around on a dime, but if you've got better time to plan for it, why not? Make it a better experience and put a little bit more effort into the planning so that you can really put on something that you're proud of. And then finally, Plan D. Maybe you're going to postpone, reschedule, cancel it outright, go to an online auction, something to that effect. I had a couple of clients who moved everything to an online auction. They were already using auction software. It was mobile bidding had been something that had been part of their event, but they just made that into a 100% online auction for all of their guests, and people could bid on the live auction items online. Those live auction items just became silent auction items. They were sold online. Even the fund a need content was made that would encourage people to give towards the fund a need online. It may be that you postpone. If you do postpone, may I suggest that you think carefully as to whether that's a good idea. It's my belief that if you're a small or medium-sized nonprofit, I don't think you should be jumping to a late winter date. First, it's flooded. There's so many events that are happening during that time frame now, and any bigger event might be stealing guests from your event. That would be a concern that I would have for you. The other element is the economy. Do we think it's going to be better? Maybe it will be. Hard to know. Nobody's an expert on that one. But my fear is that the deeper we go into 2020, it may not be a better economy. So now you're competing for guests and you're competing for in a worse economy. And that's not going to bode well for you at all. So I would almost, if you're a small, medium-sized event, I would almost, in that summer time frame, at this point, I'd be looking at a virtual event. I wouldn't even be looking at rescheduling, because I think you might be hurting yourself, double hurting yourself because of those two challenges. You also might just cancel, right? You say, thanks for nothing 2020. I'll see you on the turnaround at 2021, and just let it go. If you're in a position to do that, okay, it really depends on what your big why is. Why were you having the event in the first place? If your fundraising is critical to this event happening, then you really don't have that luxury. But if you feel like you got enough money in the bank, or you've got other ways of supporting yourself, hopefully you do, major donors and annual campaigns and so forth, then you're able to skip 2020 and plan a great event in 2021. Right? So whatever your plan, best of luck to you. I'm Sherry with Red Apple Auctions. One of the nice things about doing virtual events is that you can work with auctioneers wherever they might be. So wherever you might be, if you can set up an appointment on my website, redappleauctions.com. As always, good luck to you in your benefit auction.